Actually, this is a rescheduled demo session because we had connected on Sunday, and because of some technical issues, we had to call it off. So I don't know how many of you had attended on Sunday. It was not very comprehensive. We had just started going through the slides, but I had to call it off. So if there is anybody new, or if you had already attended on Sunday, let me know so that I may just skip that introductory part.
Already attended on
Hello.
Sunday, sir.
You had attended?
Yes, sir. I have attended on Sunday.
Okay. Please state your name because on the screen I can see you by the attendee numbers. Your name is not getting displayed.
Yes, sir. My
So
name
just
is
a
Rohit.
brief introduction. Okay, Rohit. Fine. Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah.
Attendee 4 and attendee 2.
Sir, my name is Faiz Ahmed, sir.
Faiz Ahmed. Did you attend on
Yes.
Sunday? Faiz?
No, sir. First time I'm attending this
Okay, okay, fine. Noted.
talks.
Okay. And who else? Attendee 2 and 4?
I'm Praful Uke.
Sorry?
Praful Uke.
Okay.
This is my
Were
first
you, this is your first, okay. So you had not attended on Sunday. Fine. Noted. Yeah, and attendee 4. Fine. I think he might be busy, or I don't know. Anyways, let's start. I'll introduce myself. Okay. Then we'll quickly go through the SAP EHS. Some of the slides I have prepared for you people. Maybe some of the things I have to repeat what I told on Sunday, because like we have new participants also today. So please excuse me if I have to repeat certain things which were already covered on Sunday. Okay, let me begin with myself. My name is Nayas Pasha. I am from Bangalore. I have done BTech in Electronics and Communication. My overall experience is 11 years, out of which 6 years I was working as a EHS professional. I played the roles of safety officer, senior safety engineer. Then I was also EHS advisor, and I was associated with manufacturing, pharmaceutical industry, and then civil and construction, and also facilities management. So I got a lot of knowledge about EHS from these various sectors. Though I could not work with oil and gas and chemical industry, fine. But apart from that, I can say that most of the sectors I have already worked in. So it was like almost 6 years that I spent as a EHS professional. Then I learned SAP EHS module because I knew that somewhere I was lagging behind, or maybe I was getting saturated, because there is a lot of competition in EHS sector, as you know, because there are a lot of new people who get into the EHS profession. There is a lot of competition. Salary packages are not great nowadays. So because of these things, I had to reconsider my decision. Yeah, there was an option that I could learn SAP EHS module and shift my career towards the IT sector. Because of that, I I actually had to learn the SAP EHS module, and then started working as a SAP EHS consultant. So it's been 5 years now. I am working as a full-time SAP EHS consultant, and I am based out of Bangalore. Currently, we are working from home. So that's about me. Total years of experience, like I said, 11 years, 6 years into EHS core domain, and remaining 5 years as a SAP EHS consultant. Okay, so let me share my screen. Now we'll go directly into the topic, today's topic. Let me know if you can see my screen, or if there is any issue with my screen sharing, I'll be happy to. So on Sunday we had discussed some of the basic things related to SAP. Sorry guys, I have to repeat here again because we have new friends as well. So I don't know like how many of you already know about SAP. What is a SAP? Why do we use SAP ERP software? If some of you already know, you can share me your thoughts, or even if you don't know, you can just tell me, sir, I'm completely new to this IT software. I know nothing about it. I was never exposed to this SAP before. Please, you can tell me more about it. Yeah, Praful, Faiz, Rohit. It's okay. Even if you had attended on Sunday, if I had told you about it, not an issue. You can share me your thoughts, or if you know something additionally, if you have learned, you can tell me that as well. I hope you can hear me all.
Yes, sir, I'm completely
Yes, sir.
new to SAP EHS.
Hmm, hmm. Okay. Any other module do you know in SAP?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Not an issue. So, SAP is a software. Basically, it is a software. A lot of companies use this SAP ERP software. And why they use? Because, to carry out their day-to-day business activities. Lot of companies. Take, for example, manufacturing sector. In a manufacturing sector, what happens is you take the order from your customers, you manufacture a product, then you have to deliver that product to your customer. So between purchasing the raw material and delivering the product to the customer, there are a lot of business processes in between. Like for example, first you have to decide how much raw material do you need, what is the production process, how much manpower do you need, how many resources are required, how much raw material will be there, considering how much waste will be generated from that raw material. So you make a plan, and then you start the production. Once the production is completed, then again your business process continues with warehousing, it continues with packaging, and then logistics. Finally it goes to the concerned distributor or customer. So you can see how many different business processes are involved, right from ordering the raw material up to the product is delivered to the customer. There are many business processes. Apart from these production process, you also have HR activities, you have finance to take care, you have administration. Sometimes you have to take care of the transportation management, and you have to take care of the quality control. So lot of processes, lot of resources you need to utilize. So if you want to utilize all your resources very efficiently without any losses or without any wastage exceeding the limit, you can definitely make use of any ERP software. SAP is not the only one. You have many other alternate solutions also, like Oracle definitely is one of the very best ERP softwares after SAP. Oracle has, even Microsoft has ERP softwares. So these ERP softwares are used by the companies to carry out their day-to-day business activities. So like I told before. So there are more than 100 functional modules available in SAP. Like for example, to just give you some example, production planning, quality management, you have supply chain management, warehouse management, and project systems, materials management, FICO, HCM, human capital management, etc., etc. Even your EHS is there. So like this, there are more than 100 functional modules available currently in SAP. So you can, depending on the company, how much modules they want to use or how many business process they are currently following, they can either go for 12 module implementation, 15 module implementation, or they can just implement core modules like MM, FICO, HCM, etc. So it is not only manufacturing or these kind of industries. Even your bankings can, banks can use SAP software for their finance related activities. Your insurance companies can use SAP software. So SAP is one of those softwares which has a solution for any kind of business, any kind of industry. Even oil and gas, chemical industries, pharmaceutical industries. You take any example, even civil and construction. They all these people can go for the implementation of SAP because this is going to help the company in running their business smoothly, and it will allow them to effectively utilize their resources. That is the reason why we go with your SAP ERP software. Okay, this is some basic thing related to your SAP ERP software. Now coming to SAP EHS module. So like until yesterday, what we used to do is we used to manage our EHS management system mainly by using tools like Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, or sometimes MS Word. These were the only tools that we utilized. I know because I was also part of the EHS team, and we used to do the same thing. Sometimes we even used to maintain the registers. But using SAP EHS module, you can store all your EHS data digitally in the software, and you can maintain a very accurate data. You can prevent data loss or data theft because there is a high level of data security provided by SAP software. And not only that, because we are in EHS department, lot of compliance report is also generated, maybe on a month on month basis, maybe on a quarterly basis. We have to generate compliance reports and we need to submit these reports. So if you don't have a software, what happens? You need to spend lot of time in collecting the data, a lot of time in segregating the data, and a lot of time to prepare your report. So that causes lot of waste of time, and you may require more resources than that is actually required. So you can reduce these two things. You can save time and you can save resources by using SAP EHS module. Because you once you create any report template and you store it in your EHS module, you can use it anytime. It hardly takes few minutes to generate the compliance reports or any other EHS report, and you can immediately share it with your stakeholders or the government agencies. So it is very easy for you. That is the reason why nowadays, especially after pandemic, lot of Indian companies as well are investing in the IT infrastructure. They are going for implementation of SAP and also SAP EHS module. Maybe I don't know how many of you have got the calls, but the lot of companies are actually headhunting EHS professionals. They need people who understand EHS concepts, and they need someone who can understand the requirement of the client. So because of this reason, a lot of companies are looking forward to recruit people from the EHS domain, right? So that's one of the major, I think I can say, the advantages. Okay, so like I told you, saving time and saving resources is one of the thing. Apart from that, as a responsible corporate social entity, you are responsible for environment protection. You are responsible for the health and safety of your employees. You have to ensure that these employees are safe while they are working in the company. So you can develop the policies and procedures at the management level by using SAP HS module, and then you can effectively implement them at the ground level. So that is going to be very easy, and you just have to prepare a plan how you are going to implement your SAP HS system, and you can utilize this software in percolating these rules and regulations at the ground level. So this is like a very major, I think, advantage when you are using SAP HS. Not only that, not only that, when it comes to your government compliance, like I told before, either you can share the soft copy of all the compliance reports with them, or you can take a printout of the reports which you generate and you can share it accordingly. Even the hard copies can be shared. Apart from this, the data accuracy will be very high. See what happens if you are doing everything manually, like collecting the data, then entering the data into the report. Sometimes, if there is too much dependency on people, you may lose out some data accuracy. Sometimes it may contain errors. Okay, to avoid all those complications, once you enter the data digitally, once you store the data digitally in a SAP EHS module, it will be utilized in the future for generating any kind of EHS report. It may be compliance related or otherwise also you can make use of this. So I think these are the two major advantages at the base level. Now, going point by point, like on Sunday also I had discussed, I will very quickly review the points related to your incident management and what are the other advantages, especially related to EHS. I think that will be very helpful. Okay, give me a second. Your SAP EHS module basically allows you to reduce incidents, to mitigate the risks which are inherent in the company, and to facilitate a very safe working environment. See, as an employer, you are also responsible for allowing safe working conditions for your employees. So, how does it actually help us? How can we actually implement a safe working condition by using SAP EHS module? Because we can see from time to time, we can generate reports and we can keep an eye on what are the major incidents that are occurring. Are they related to near miss incidents, or which is the work activity in which a lot of incidents are being reported? You can identify those areas and you can uh, like apply additional control measures, or you can concentrate more in those work areas. You can provide better training to those employees so that you can provide a better control measures so that people working there are working safely. Okay, so that's one of the ways by which you can reduce the incidents, by looking at the number of incidents and then providing control measures. Secondly, apart from this, you can also use hazardous substances safely and securely, because one of the main advantages of SAP EHS module is that it will allow you to monitor the hazardous substances, like what is the quantity of the hazardous substances we are currently having. Okay, what is the maximum stock level we have to maintain as per the regulatory requirements. So it cannot be done physically. I mean, if you're using hundreds of hazardous substances, it is very difficult for us to maintain the quantity limits of the hazardous substances. So by using SAP HS module, you can automatically check how much is the hazardous substance quantity and you can bring it down to the acceptable limit. Likewise, monitoring incident patterns and implementing control measures, depending on whether it is a near miss incident or major accident, you can take action accordingly by continuously monitoring the incident patterns. And I already discussed this fourth point. You can comply with all the legal regulations or any other regulations related to your hazardous substances, dangerous goods, or even your waste management. So you can generate the reports related to these regulatory requirements and you can submit these reports to the agency. Similarly, you can proactively perform the risk assessments. You can identify the areas of improvement. You can identify what are the hazards we have in a company, and then you can implement control measures. So, risk assessment is basically what we call it as proactively identify the risk. Any doubt? Any doubt from anyone? Because I could hear somebody. Fine, we'll continue. So, proactively identifying the risk and hazards in a company and then taking necessary actions can be effectively done using your SAP EHS module. Some of these are very important points pertaining to your EHS management system. So if you can take care of these things, I think 90-95% of all your EHS requirements are already done. Maybe training requirements you have to do outside of SAP, or maybe auditing you have to do it separately. But still, this SAP EHS module gives you about 95% of the total solution related to EHS. Okay, so after discussing so many points and advantages of SAP EHS modules, let us see one by one what are the components that we are actually going to learn and what are the components that are going to benefit us. First and foremost, mm, one second, huh? Just a minute. Okay. So first and foremost, we are going to learn about basic data and tools in EHS module. So what do you mean by basic data and tools? This is one of the components which is required for creating EHS data, and you can store your EHS data in basic data and tools. So it is by using basic data and tools you can generate your standard operating procedures, MSDS reports, incident reports, or any kind of EHS report can be generated from this basic data and tools. Why? Because all of our EHS data resides in this basic data and tools. And we are going to store the data by using specification management, and we are going to use phrase management for creating and storing the EHS data. Right. So we are going to learn deeper about what is a specification, what things are involved in this, what are phrases, how do we create phrases. We are going to see that deeper when we take up the course. But here, just understand one thing: your specification management and phrase management is basically used to create and store your EHS data. And then finally, we are going to see some of the basic concepts related to report management. So, what are the different types of reports we have? What are the documents we have? And how do we create those documents? All that information we are going to see briefly in report management. Then going ahead with your product safety component, product safety is one of those components that help you in managing your hazardous substances. For example, if you are manufacturing hazardous substances, there are certain rules and regulations you need to follow, especially concerning the quantity limits. You cannot store the hazardous substances as much as you want. There is always a limit. The government has fixed certain limits for hazardous substances, and you need to manage those limits. But like I told you before, it is not possible. Physically, it is very difficult, especially if there are many different types of hazardous substances. How can you go every day and check what is the quantity, and how can you compare it with the maximum limit? It is very difficult. So what we use here is, in product safety, we use something known as substance volume tracking. Using this, we can identify what are the quantity of hazardous substance we have, take necessary action, find out what is the maximum limit, and whenever your hazardous substance quantity reaches 90% or 100% of the maximum limit, it will generate certain alerts. So once you see these alerts, you can take action and bring down the overall quantity of the hazardous substances. That is why we use substance volume tracking. Apart from this, most of the things in product safety are related to your report management. Like how can you create reports? How can you manage the status of a report? Who is going to authorize the reports? Because it is not that somebody can create a report and immediately he can share with the customers. That cannot be done. Somebody has to check whether the data mentioned in the report is correct or not, whether sufficient information has been included or not. So it will be checked first, and it will be approved by the managers or product managers, plant managers, and then those reports like MSDS and safety manuals, etc., will be shared with the customers. So we are going to see a lot of about report management in product safety. And definitely, yes, like I told you, report template is like a blank format. You have to first design your report template, store it in your EHS system, in your SAP EHS, and whenever there is a requirement to generate any MSDS report, you can generate it within few minutes, because already you have a format ready with you. You just have to click few buttons and your report will be ready, because it will extract the data from your EHS database and it will fill the report. So it is very easy to generate the reports in your SAP EHS module. So to design that or to modify some of the report templates, we use a software known as WWI, Windows Word Processor Integration. So we are going to learn basic things about WWI and how these report templates function, and we are also going to see how the label templates are actually generated. So these things related to the report designs and report generation, report template, we use the software known as WWI, which stand for Windows Word Processor Integration. Okay, so this is little bit technical. We will not go deeply because this is a responsibility of a technical consultant. He is going to take care of this report designing and all. We have to provide him the input. We have to provide him the requirement. He is going to handle it. And then finally, yes, we are going to study global label management. In a company, maybe wherever you are working currently, you may be using lot of labels. Labels are very commonly used in every business process. Take for example warehousing, you need labels. In logistics, you need labels. In procurement, you need labels. In production planning, you need labels. Labels are used majorly in every business function, including EHS. For example, if you want to use danger label for your dangerous goods, you need labels. If you want to display some information related to hazardous waste, again, you need labels. So in global label management, we are going to learn how many types of labels are there, in which business processes we use labels, and how they are created, how they are generated in our WWI. So mainly on those terms, we are going to learn in global label management. It is a part of product safety, but I usually handle this separately. Okay, so these are some of the things we see in product safety component. So before we go ahead, let me know if you have any doubt concerning any of these topics. I'll clarify them before we go ahead. Any doubts, any concerns, any questions, you can do ask me before we carry on. No doubts? We'll continue.
Yes, please carry on.
Okay, thanks. Right. So next component, hazardous substance management. This is a very short component we have, where we are only going to study about two things, mainly hazardous substance master and SARA reports. So many of you who don't know about SARA reports, let me give you a little bit overview about it. Let's say if you are having a manufacturing company manufacturing chemicals like pesticides or any chemical, you can take any example. So when you manufacture chemicals and if you want to sell your products in American market, in United States especially, it is not that they will welcome you, okay, no problem, we can come and you can sell your products. It's not going to happen, especially if it is hazardous chemicals or hazardous products. They will not allow. What you need to do is you have to give a lot of information about your products. What is the product meant for? What kind of chemicals you are using in that? How is it going to affect the environment? How it is going to affect the human health? All this information you have to prepare and provide to the Environment Protection Agency of United States. We call it as EPA. Once they will review the reports, they will see what are the drawbacks, whether they really need these chemicals from India, can't they produce this in American soil. They are going to review all that. They are going to see how much impact they have to bear on the environment. After reviewing all, if they feel it is okay to allow this product, they will give you the permission, right? Once the permission is given, next you have to prepare every month the SARA reports and you need to submit to them. So what is SARA basically? SARA is United States Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act. If you have heard, that is fine. I'll repeat it again. United States Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act. So this is an American act according to which you need to prepare certain reports and you need to submit to the government agency every month. Like if I have to give you some very real life example, take the case of FDA, Food and Drug Controlling Authority, I think something like that. FDA, we know FDA. Pharmaceutical industry, like you have Biocon, you have Dr. Reddy's, you have Cipla. These pharma companies, when they manufacture any pharma product, and before they can sell the product in United States, first they have to get the approval from FDA. If the FDA approves, fine, they can sell the pharmaceutical product. Otherwise, they cannot. You know what happened with Covaxin? Covaxin, I think still they have not yet given the permission to sell it in America. What they do is they will very strictly see, they will do the audit at the plants, at the facilities. They will review your documents. They are going to check very thoroughly. Similar to FDA, we have EPA also who are more concerned with the environment protection. So they are going to take care of these audits and the control measures on hazardous substances. Okay, so we are going to study how many types of SARA reports are there, what kind of information do we have to provide under each type of SARA report, and then we are going to study hazardous substance master. Hazardous substance master is a master record containing the basic information about all the hazardous substances which are there in the company. It will only contain basic information like what is the name of the hazardous substance, what are the hazardous nature of these substances, what are the first aid measures we have to take in case of exposure, what are the firefighting measures we have to employ. These kind of basic information about the hazardous substances will be stored in a record known as hazardous substance master record. And using this hazardous substance master record, we will fill the SARA report. So, if there is no data in the hazardous substance master, you cannot prepare SARA report. It is not possible. All the information required in SARA report actually comes from your hazardous substance master report. So, we are going to study about this, how to do the hazardous substance master filling, what transaction codes are used, etc. etc. But it is very short but very important. Okay, so once we are done with hazardous substance management, then we go with dangerous goods management. One basic question what I would like to ask, because I feel most of you are from EHS background. Do you know what is the difference between a hazardous substance and a dangerous good? By definition wise or as per your understanding, is there any difference between the two? Hazardous substance and dangerous good, or are they same? I hope you are all from EHS background. Okay, no idea.
Sir, according to my knowledge, the hazardous substance which will affect the health and environment uh, like slowly,
Okay.
and the dangerous which will it's like spontaneous like petrol or diesel. So if you take
Hmm.
the hazardous, it will affect the health and
Hmm.
environment like slow poisons, something like that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
dangerous goods, it is going to affect immediately, you mean?
Yeah. According to me, it's yeah, it's like spontaneous when the petrol catches a fire or diesel
Okay. Yeah, that is an
or
immediate
methane.
reaction you're speaking
Yeah,
about.
immediate reaction.
Yeah, okay, fine. In that case, my question is, if that is the case, do you consider petrol as a hazardous substance or a dangerous good?
I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. Also, it is a hazardous substance.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Because see, if you look at the basic definition of a hazardous substance and compare it with your dangerous good, I can say that both the definitions are same. They are both going to affect the human health, animals, and the environment. And it while you are using the substances or if you are storing it, it doesn't matter. It is definitely going to affect human health, environment, and the animals. Right. So the definition is same for both the things. But there is a difference. There is definitely a difference. See what happens, when you are using any hazardous substance at one particular location. Let's say you are using a hazardous substance as a raw material in a company or in a plant. There is no question that that material will be only in that particular plant. It is not going to go away in any other location. So, if any hazardous substance is at one location, we call it as a hazardous substance. When you put that hazardous substance in a vehicle and when you are transporting it to some other location, the same hazardous substance you have to call it as a dangerous good. So the subtle difference between a hazardous substance and a dangerous good, according to me, is that when a transportation term gets connected with your hazardous substance or when any special packaging requirements are considered, then your hazardous substance becomes a dangerous good, because goods carrier goods basically means you are going to transport them. So transportation is one of the things. When you add transportation part to your hazardous substance, it becomes a dangerous good. That is why we have separate components here. That is why we are going to learn both your hazardous substance management as well as the dangerous good. That is the reason. So remember, not only from the perspective of SAP EHS, also it is going to help you in your other form of your job role. So what we are going to learn in dangerous goods management, like I told you, it is mainly considering the transportation means which we are going to use. So we will study about the different transport categories we can use for dangerous goods management to transport your dangerous goods. And when you are transporting the dangerous goods, there are different regulations you need to follow. For example, you have IATA, IMDG, ADR, ADNR. Like that, there are many regulations. Some of the regulations are country wise, country specific. Some DG regulations are internationally followed. For example, IATA is a very well known regulation which is used not only for civil aviation, also for your dangerous goods management. They follow the same IATA regulation. Okay, we are going to study about that, and not only that, we are going to learn a very important term known as dangerous goods master record. Just like your hazardous substance master, dangerous goods master records contains each and every information about your dangerous good. Name of the dangerous good, how are you going to transport it, what is the danger rating for the dangerous goods, what is the applicable regulation, how much quantity is allowed, how much quantity is not allowed, what is the packaging that you have to use, what is the transportation means you have to use. All this, each and every information pertaining to your dangerous good will be recorded in a master record. And this is the data which you need for generating dangerous goods documents. Okay, so we are going to learn this. Especially, we are going to concentrate more on the transportation categories and the dangerous goods regulations. So, this entire component is dedicated to the dangerous goods management. So, many companies actually ask for this dangerous goods management. I don't know if you go through the job profile, you'll come to know it is one of the very important ones. Product safety, this dangerous goods management are all very important. Okay, in a similar fashion, see, even your waste management comes under legal compliance. If you are manufacturing any chemicals and if you are generating hazardous waste, again the regulatory part comes into picture. So, what kind of hazardous waste you are generating? We are going to learn some of the basic terminologies related to your waste management, like waste code, waste catalog, definition of waste, etc. And then we are also going to learn the master data concepts like authority assigned number, entry document, what is a approval document, etc., etc. So those things come under the master data of your waste management. we are going to learn these terminologies before going ahead with disposal processing. Generating waste is one thing, but disposing it safely is a very stringent requirement by the government. So what is the disposal process you need to follow? You have to provide a plan to the government agency, take their approval, and then you can put this in practice. Disposal processing involves generating the waste, then safely carrying out that waste for disposal. That is known as a disposal process. So a very important document you need to generate during this process known as disposal document. We are going to study how to generate this disposal document, what data is required in this disposal document, what are the different business partners we have to involve in this. All these terminologies we are going to study under disposal document. Especially, we are going to study the different waste management business partners. Business partner means they are the vendors. So, as you know, for handling waste, the waste partners, waste management business partner should be licensed by the government. You cannot take the services from any vendor who is not authorized or who does not have license. That is illegal. Every maybe he is related to transportation, but he has to have a license from the government. So we are going to study different business partners that are involved in our waste management. Okay, so these are some of the basic concepts that is covered under waste management. We are going to study them deeply and generate some of the documents related to this waste management. Then comes our very important part and very elaborate one as well in SAP EHS, industrial hygiene and safety. See, this is our core work as a EHS professionals. This is what we used to do right from the beginning, like performing risk assessments, measuring the agents, identifying the hazards, reporting incidents or accidents that take place in the company. We are very much familiar with these terminologies. So in industrial hygiene and safety, we will learn some basic concepts related to industrial hygiene and safety. Then we are going to learn about work area management. Any idea what is a work area? Anybody has any idea about this work area management? Because normally we don't do it in our EHS profession, we don't come across this work area management. But this is very interesting and very important concept. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. See, a company or a plant, it will be expanded in number of acres. There will be such a huge area, covering for each plant. So what happens here in work area management is we divide each uh, section of the plant into different work areas. Let's say, for example, production area will be one work area, your transformer yard is one, or your electrical rooms, HT, LT rooms will be separate. Boiler rooms is considered as a separate work area, and then your QC lab is a separate area, warehouse is a separate area. So what they will do, the entire plant is divided into different small sections. These small sections are known as work areas. Can you tell me what is the advantage? Why do we have to divide the entire section into these small areas? Can't we handle it uh, like together? What is that one advantage because of which we have to create these work areas, small sections in the plant?
So why? Because
Hmm.
there are different sectors.
Hmm.
Yeah, they say the example of the steel plant.
Hmm. Okay.
If the workers are working in the steel melting shop,
Hmm.
uh, and the workers who are exposed in the steel melting
Hmm.
shop will be different, and the person
Ah.
who are working in the
Ah.
dispatch
Okay.
section, they will be the
Hmm.
and they
Yes,
are
you are
exposed to the
absolutely
different
right.
hazards.
Hmm. Okay.
So if we make into different sectors, it is easy to make the risk
Hmm.
assessment, or is
Yes.
it
Yes.
easy? Yeah, it's further.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. Okay. I'll continue from here. You are absolutely right.
Okay.
See, what happens is when we divide the entire plant into different sections or different work areas, it is very easy for us to identify the hazards in that particular work area. We can implement the control measures specially for that work area. Otherwise, what happens, if the entire plant is into one big unit, it is very difficult. There may be 25, 30 hazards. You may be able to identify only 20 hazards, or you may not be able to very clearly provide any control measures. So if there are different sections, you can concentrate completely on that one work area, provide the control measures, then go to the next work area. It will make your work very easy. And not only that, identifying the hazards in each work area will be very easy. Okay, so that is the reason why we have a concept called work area management. And you are absolutely right. That is why we use work area management, and we are going to learn how to create this work area. Right. So that's about your work area management. Next, going with exposure management, we also need to measure what is the exposure level of agents to our employees. Example, noise. See, some people will be working in a very heavy noisy area like maybe DG room or in some other section where lot of noise is produced. In production area also, there will be a lot of noise. So in exposure management, what we do is we will first identify what are the hazards. We will try to measure it, and we will give a exposure rating for each hazard. For example, if it is noise, first I will measure. If it is more than 85 dB, what I will do is I will give exposure rating 1. Means it is very highly hazardous. It is having a higher hazard level. Or if it is below 85, somewhere around 75 to 80, I will say, okay, it is having hazard rating 2. Means it is comparatively less. So in exposure management, we calculate how much of the agent are being exposed on our employees, and then we can uh, implement control measures, or we can do the risk assessment further on. So exposure management is nothing but calculating what is the exposure level of the hazards to our employees. Risk assessment, you all know, I don't have to repeat it. Risk assessment is basically identifying the hazards and risks, and then calculating how much is the probability and severity arising out of that risk, and then implementing the control measure. So we will see how to perform risk assessment in our industrial hygiene and safety. Similarly, we have measurement management, where you can again measure the agents in a work area and maintain those measurement values in our SAP EHS module. And then finally, we come to incident accident management. For every kind of incident or accident occurring in a company, you can report it by using the incident accident log. You can even perform investigation if required, and then you can submit this report to the management. So there is a transaction code for this by which you can report every kind of incidents occurring in a company. So we are also going to see that in our industrial hygiene and safety. Right, it is very comprehensive. There are many other topics also which I have not included, because quite frankly, this industrial hygiene and safety is a very vast component. If hazardous substance management is very small, this is inversely proportional. Okay, then we go to the last part, that is occupational health. Occupational health is a component that mainly deals with the health of your employees. So you can take care of your pre-employment medical checkups, post-employment medical checkups, or even the regular medical checkups. You can plan the medical checkups using this component. You can identify which are the people who have to go for regular medical checkups. You can take appointments for these employees from the doctor. You can create a calendar, medical calendar. You can fix an appointment, and you can even send the invitation to these employees. Let's say, for example, in your company, if there are 150 employees working, I can identify there are 20, 25 people who have to go for medical checkup, right? So what I can do, I can fix an appointment for these 25 employees. I can share the in what you call. I can share the invitation letter to these employees, and I can ask them to go and report on that particular day. So it is very useful component, occupational health. Not only that, even if you have to send your employees for vaccinations, or if you want to maintain the vaccination related data, it will be much helpful if you are using occupational health component. Not only this, apart from this, you can, like I said, you can schedule planning of your medical checkup. You can create medical services for each employees. You can also report all the injuries and illnesses that occur in the company. Just like your accident incident report, you can create an injury illness report in your occupational health. Not only that, there is also a very important function of occupational health. You can maintain all the medical related records of employees in occupational health. If even if there are 3,000 employees working in a company, you can maintain all the medical records of each employee in occupational health company. Right. So these are some of the concepts we are going to study in occupational health, and it is mainly dealing with the health and well-being of your employees. Okay, so this is your occupational health, and these are the 8 components what we are going to study in SAP EHS module. And apart from this, yeah, I will be telling you some technical concepts as well, like what are tables, what is integration between EHS module and other modules, and what is a data structure. And apart from this also, I will be giving you some of the technical concepts which are very important for you as a consultant. Not only that, when we start the course, I am not going to take you directly to SAP EHS module. First, I will introduce you to SAP. What is SAP? A little bit about the background of SAP as a company, how many modules are there, and some basic information on projects, some basic information on the different tables we use in SAP, what are the implementation methodologies we have. So we'll start with a basic introduction to SAP before going to SAP EHS module, so that you should have some understanding, fundamental knowledge about SAP before you dive into EHS module. Right. So that is what we are going to cover in our SAP EHS module. So this is all I had from my end related to the EHS module components and the advantages. Now you can ask me any questions related to maybe the opportunities that you may find, or how can you prepare, or any interview related questions, or any doubts that you may be having in your mind. You may ask me so that I'll clarify before we wind up.
Sir, are we going to undergo any real-time projects or any practical sessions?
No, real time projects is not possible, because I don't know, like there are institutes who promise you, but it is not possible in SAP, because we will be working on projects which are highly confidential. And before we take up any project, we actually have to sign non disclosure agreement. I cannot, or not only me, any consultant, he cannot give you any information related to real time project. Okay, but what I can do is the projects which I have already completed, which are already done, I can share the information on those projects definitely. Like for example, what kind of reports you have to prepare, what documents are used in the project implementation phase, how do you prepare them, what are that some of the other technical concepts are also there, like rise of objects and all. So I need to provide these information for you. Right. So on a real-time project, live project, nobody can support you, nobody can disclose the information. But the projects which are already completed, definitely I can give information on them.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, Rohit. Okay. So any other doubt, any other clarifications?
Sir, is the
Hmm.
at present we are working as EHS executives, right? So is this
Yes.
experience going to count?
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, first of all, they are going to take your interview keeping in mind that you are a EHS professional. If you are not a EHS professional, they would not call you. So when you get the job, it is on the basis of your experience in EHS is what that will count.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah, even your salary package is calculated on whatever the salary you are currently getting. It is not that you will be something like a fresher or anything like that. You will not be a fresher. It's on your experience, on whatever you have gained in your EHS sector. That is what will help you in getting a job in SAP.
Okay. Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, Rohit. Okay, I didn't get a chance to ask you. Like, were you genuinely interested in SAP EHS module, or some of your friends suggested you to do this module? I don't know. Maybe if you want to share that, you can share with me. Is it your own interest because of which you want to do this course?
Yes, sir. It's my own that I want to do.
Ah,
So no one
hmm.
from my friend side,
Suggested
there's
you.
no one in the SAP. Yeah.
Ah, okay, okay,